Hello everyone, it's Keo Gaming, and welcome to my channel. Today, I'm gonna do a quick little video on the top 5, my top 5 Final Fantasy games. Now, the reason you see Final Fantasy 9 on the screen is because I'm recording this video. Let me turn off the sound real quick. I'm recording this video on my PlayStation. So yeah, I'm recording this video on my PlayStation, and I decided, since I'm recording it on my PlayStation, I have to boot up a game, and so I decided to pick Final Fantasy. So let's get to it. My top 5 favorite Final Fantasy games. Number 5, Final Fantasy 13. Wait, sorry, Final Fantasy 15. Sorry, I got a little jumbled up there. Final Fantasy 15. The reason it's in my 5 favorite games. The reason it's number 5, a little backstory. I stopped playing Final Fantasy after Final Fantasy 13. I didn't play Final Fantasy 14. I didn't play 11 or 12. Those games didn't really appeal to me, right? I've seen gameplay of them, but I don't really like them, Now, Final Fantasy 15, I didn't really like the play style of it a lot. I didn't really like the story. But it was a great game. Noctis, Gladius, Ignis. I forgot the last guy's name, but yeah, it's like, it was a great cast of characters, great story. I loved the only thing I didn't like about it is the fact that the summons were so huge. I didn't like the ability system, the weapon system. I like the classic battle system where you pick an item for your character, kind of like Final Fantasy 7, 8, and 9, where everybody has their set weapons, like a sword or a staff or like a shield, or like a harpoon, claws, stuff like that. So I didn't really like the equipment system, but other than that, it was a great game. I like the story. I love the ending of it. I love the fact that you get to fight Ifrit. I just would have liked the summoning to be better, you know what I mean? The summoning aspect of it, like what they did with Final Fantasy 7 Remake, right? Where you can replace a character with your summon. Like, that would have been good to replace the 3 knights. Oh, Prompto, that's his name, I don't remember it. Ignis, Gladius, and Prompto. When you use the summoning, you kind of use their soul, kind of like in Final Fantasy 7 Remake, where you replace your other party members with the new summon. That would have been cool. So that's my number 5 favorite Final Fantasy game of all time. My number 4 favorite Final Fantasy game of all time in my lifetime is Final Fantasy X, or X, as when people called it when I was younger. Again, great story. Final Fantasy, Square Soft and Square Enix have always came out with amazing story for their Final Fantasy games. I haven't really liked them 100%, but they're still good stories. Final Fantasy X, a little backstory. Final Fantasy X was my first PS2 game. When I first got my PS2, that was the first PS2 game I got. Final Fantasy X, right? And it was great because I had all the previous Final Fantasy games, 7, 8, and 9, which we'll talk about more later, for PS1. And then when I switched to PS2, I got Final Fantasy X. It was a great game. I love Tidus. Like I said, I love the battle system where everybody has their own set weapon. Titus has his blades. Auron had his long sword or katanas. Kimahri had his spear. Wakka had his ball. I love the fact that a blitz player, pretty much a volleyball player, can use a ball as a weapon. I love Lulu. She was always gorgeous. I love the little Moogle she had. She was a black mage. Yuna had her staff. Riku had her little claws. You know what I mean? I like that battle system. Now, I love the battle system. I do not... I like the summoning system. I just don't enjoy... Wait, give me 1 minute, guys. Just one quick minute. Sorry about that, guys. I can't really edit these videos, so I couldn't cut this part out. You're welcome to fast forward it a little bit, a few seconds or a minute. But anyway, let's keep going. Final Fantasy X. I love the battle system. I didn't enjoy the summoning system. I mean, I like the summoning system. I didn't enjoy the ability system, you know, where it's not like you level up and you have these abilities. And I didn't like the grid system. I didn't like the grid system. So yeah, but overall, great game, great summonings. This overall great game. Now let's talk about my number 3, Final Fantasy VIII. Final Fantasy VIII, my favorite out of the trio. I mean, not my favorite out of the trio, but 7, 8, and 9. That classic trio of Final Fantasy games that everybody fell in love with. I feel like those 3 games made the Final Fantasy gaming world and just murdered it. You know what I mean? So, Final Fantasy VIII, again, great story, great battle system. I like the fact that you don't have to level up if you don't want to. You could just play through the story and flee from every monster you see. But, you know, you still have to level up your abilities with AP. I like the summoning system. I like the fact that, you know, they have that you can upgrade your summoning so you can gain new abilities and stuff, and they have their own abilities. I like that the GFs, the Guardian Forces. Leon is one of my favorite video game characters of all time. Leon is a great character. He has the Gunblade. Cypher is my favorite character of all time. Also, he's a great villain and he's a great support character. I like the villain of the story, Ultimecia, and I like the sorceress Edna, I think her name was. I love that game. I love the battle system. My 3 characters that I love using in that game is Irvine, Leon, and Zell. I love Zell for his, you know, melee style. I like guns. And then Squall with his iconic sword abilities. Moving on. My top 2. Number 2. Final Fantasy VII. First Final Fantasy game I ever played in my life. It was nostalgic. Polygon polygon awesomeness. That was my introduction into the Final Fantasy world with Cloud, Sephiroth, Barret, you know, Tifa, Aerith, the whole crew. Who cannot love Final Fantasy VII? The story. I had the original PS1 game, so I still have it. So I love the discs quality, you know, like you play 1 disc, 2 disc, 3 disc, stuff like that. I love the magic system, like the material system. I like the battle system. I love the summoning system, classic summoning system. I like the weapons. The weapons look great. Everybody has their own set weapons. You know, Barret with the guns, Cloud with the swords, Tifa with her gloves, her fighting gloves. You know, Vincent with his guns. And my 3 favorite characters of that game would be Cloud, because you can't really change him out, so you're always using Cloud, but nonetheless, favorite character of the game. My favorite characters to use were always Cloud, Vincent, and Cid. Just 3 badass characters. I like Barret and his guns, and Tifa with her gloves. But Cid and Vincent are badass. I just like, you know, Cid's character overall. The badass, you know, scruffy, cigar mouth, engineer type dude, mechanic. Love him. He's a great character. And I hope to see him. I can't wait to see what he looks like in Final Fantasy VII Remake. Also, Vincent. That's another thing. I don't know what you guys think, but I hope that they don't make them optional characters. You know, like Yuffie and Vincent. I hope they're not optional characters. I hope they're mandatory characters. But moving on to my final choice. Number 1, most favorite Final Fantasy game of all time is the one you're seeing right in front of you. Final Fantasy IX. What more can be said? Even though Final Fantasy 7 and 8 were my first Final Fantasy games, Final Fantasy IX blew me away. Why did they blow me away? Because I love the medieval theme. I'm a big fan of Harry Potter, of magic, of Lord of the Rings, knights, swords, shields, all that crap. I love it. Wizards, all that stuff. Here we go. The characters you see in front of you are my absolute favorite. Zidane, Dagger, Garnet, Vivi, Steiner. Everything about this game just blew me away. The music, the characters, the story. My favorite villain, Kuja, who went, funny story, when I was little, I went over to my friend's house to play this game, and his sister literally came out and said, "Oh wow, he looks like he's straight out of a novella," like a Japanese novella, which novella means soap opera in Spanish. But yeah, Kuja was great. I love the trance system. Even though she was like a supportive character for a while and a villain, Beatrix is my favorite, like, outside character of the main characters. Beatrix is my favorite. My least character, I hate to say it, is Quina, however, Quina. The 4 characters that I love using, that I always love in this game, are Zidane, Vivi, Freya, and Steiner/Amarant. Like, my favorite characters to use. I love Freya and her spear abilities. I love Amarant and his claws, and the fact that you could throw weapons at people. I love Steiner because I love knights. I love Vivi because of his black magic. I love Zidane. He has cool weapons, and the fact that Zidane can use 2 types of weapons, daggers or two-sided blades. Love that. But yeah, that was my top 5 favorite Final Fantasy games of all time in my life. I'm sorry again for the fact that I had to go away a little bit, but you can always skip forward because I can't edit these videos right now. I don't really have editing software, so all these videos that I'm gonna put out, and yes, there's gonna be more of them, are gonna be unedited. So, but I hope you enjoy. I hope I wasn't too boring. But if you give me a like, ignore the siren in the background. Just a normal thing where I live. But if you enjoyed it, drop a like, subscribe if you want to see more of my videos. I have tons of videos on my channel. It's still the Keo Gaming channel. So I have playlists and tons of games on my channel, so go check them out if you want. You know, Kingdom Hearts, Final Fantasy, Spider-Man, stuff like that. But yeah, hope you enjoyed. Drop a like, subscribe if you want to see more. Hit that notification bell so you know when I'm posting. But other than that, leave a comment also, and tell me your favorite Final Fantasy games. Which one was the first Final Fantasy game you ever played? What are your top 5? I'd love to know. So, with all that, I bid you adieu. Catch you guys next time. Bye bye.